Hey everyone!
I'm Jobi.
And I'm Erika.
Happy Worlds Week.
We hope everyone is enjoying themselves, and thanks to whoever is joining in on our nature journaling segment of Worlds.
Now, before we get started, some of you may not know what nature journaling is. So, Erika, what's nature journaling? What are the people going to be doing?
Great question, Jobi. To simply put it, nature journaling is a combination of writing and drawing what you see in nature. There are many ways to look at nature, and while you are observing your subject, it is typically encouraged to think about what you notice, what you wonder, and what it is it reminds you of. These are things you can ponder with yourself, but doing it with others is also really great.
Personally, what's really appealing about nature journaling is it's something that you don't have to just be outside to do. I can be looking through the window at my home, or I can even be looking at video footage on like YouTube or something.
Right, and on a rainy day, you could have your favorite drink in your hand and playing some music with, the vibes.
Exactly, get the vibes going on. So it doesn't matter if you're a good drawer or not, this is meant to be a relaxing yet fun experience.
So in this video, we're going to be talking about the belted kingfisher, a feathered friend that can be found on the eastern shore, especially out here on Shoemaker Pond. Let's go to Brenda, who is a birder, to learn more about the belted kingfisher.
Hey there, I'm Brenda. I'm the education director here at the Ward Museum, and I also happen to be a pretty avid birder. And I want to welcome you all to Shoemaker Pond, where we can see a wide variety of birds throughout the year, but this is also home to the belted kingfisher. Now, kingfishers are a pretty large group of birds that can be found in regions all throughout the world, especially in the tropics. But we have one species here in North America called the belted kingfisher, which has a fun, very distinguished mohawk kind of a crest, a very large head compared to its body, and a very long beak as well. Kingfishers, as the name implies, are very good at spearing fish. They'll actually catch fish in a dive. They'll be diving into the water to catch a little fish, and then they'll grab it and fly back to their perch to eat. Now, we have one particular kingfisher here that we're very fond of. Her name is Evangeline. We named her that. She does frequently make an appearance here, except for right now we're not starting to see her as frequently because kingfishers right around now are beginning to build their nests and get ready to lay eggs. And kingfishers, unlike many other songbirds, are actually burrowing nesters. They will dig a little tunnel into the side of a bank, and that's where they build their nest for the season. So right now, Evangeline has been a little bit MIA, but hopefully we'll see her again in a few months. This is one of the few cases where I know of that the females have more color than the males. It's usually the other way around. But with belted kingfishers, the females are the ones that have that kind of rusty colored belt across their chest. The males are actually missing that, so they're just that blue and white color. But that's the belted kingfisher. We love having them around here, and anytime you're around a body of water, listen for a very distinguished chattering call and see if you're lucky enough to spot one.
Awesome stuff, Brenda. Thank you. Now that we know more about the belted kingfisher, it should make journaling and drawing a lot easier. We are able to see and get more of an understanding about the kingfisher now.
I agree. Now let's begin with the sketching. For this, you are going to need paper, a pen, and an eraser. Plain white paper that comes in my journal, a pencil I grabbed off my desk, and an eraser for really big mistakes.
Yeah, you're going to need that one. Just kidding. It's all fun and games, but mistakes are okay to have. It's the beauty of art, right?
Yeah. If you're feeling bold, talented, or maybe frisky, you can use a pen, but just note that later in this video, Jobi will be showing us watercolor. So note that your pen ink might blend into the watercolors.
Which could be cool looking.
Yeah, definitely get creative, for sure. Happy mistakes are always welcome. During this video, you can pause at any time. I will be sketching, and there will be an image of the kingfisher in the right-hand corner for you to reference. You do not have to follow along with how I sketch. This is just an option for anyone who might need tips to sketch. Of course, how I draw might not be for everyone, so feel free to comment techniques or things below that others can benefit from.
Awesome, sounds great. Nothing to it but to do it.
Alright, so not everybody needs to do this, but I like to pick a landmark that will help me better look at the scale and proportion of the image. Here I picked the branch, so I will do a light sketch of that at first. Of course, the initial sketch should always be lightly drawn. That way, when it is done, you can erase or touch up what you need. Also, during the initial sketch, it is really helpful to look at the general shape of the lines of the body and detail. I've drawn my stick, and now I'm going to be looking at the bum of the bird that comes out from the stick. The line looks something like this. Again, it doesn't really have to be perfect because it can be touched up later.
Yeah, and what I notice in this bird is that the head kind of looks like a squished marshmallow. It's a little bit bigger than the body. The beak is very long and pointed, and then the body is very round and plump.
Yes, plump indeed. From the base of the tail, I'm extending all the way to the shoulder of the bird, then coming down to get the wing shape. I choose to do this because the wings will help me better understand the shape of the chest details when I get to that part. Now I'm going to the lower belly part of the bird that extends from the stick, and I'm going up and trying to mimic that shape I see, the outline of the bird. After I've got that, I'm going to connect the line with the shoulder, then bam, the body is done.
And a decapitated bird.
Spooky. But anyways, I have the body, and it will give me a better eye on how the head should be in proportion.
Even though their heads are not even proportional in real life at all.
That is true. I'm going to start with getting the gauge for the neck. The neck on this kingfisher is white, so I'm going to create that shape that I see in the white space and then go into the head. I'm going in on that beak shape. It's kind of got like a greater than, less than type of symbol going on, so that makes it pretty easy. Now the forehead has a slant down into the beak, a nice little slope, and bam, we got the body
Bam.
and the head.
Yes.
So now we're gonna move on to the chest details. I'm looking at this nice brownish orange shade to create that line that will help shape the other colors that move into the white and then that blue chest. Once I have the shapes done, I label the colors for reference. You don't have to do this. This is just a personal preference. And now I'm gonna pass it off to Jobi for the color section.
Awesome. Now it's time to paint. We are using watercolor, and once the body is sketched out, we are going to add detail. I am using watercolor. But feel free to use any medium that you'd like. So you will need water, brown, white, and bluish black watercolor paint. Also a small pointed brush, flat squared brush, and a medium pointed brush. I'm going to start by emphasizing the shapes of the kingfisher through outlining what had already been done. And our bird is just floating right now, so I'm gonna add feet right here. Erika, did you know kingfisher had feet?
Oh, it doesn't just fly. Sorry,
All
sarcasm.
And now I'm adding the little mohawk at the top.
because he's our little rock star.
Cue heavy metal music. Anyways.
Back to our regular scheduling program.
Back to it. Now it's time to add some color. With watercolors, we go light to dark always.
Why is that?
Because if you mess up by going dark first, you can't really get the light color over the dark because it's such a thin consistency. So if you go light to dark, you're able to make it flow better.
Okay, that makes sense. I know there's a lot of cool things to do with watercolor, but the more water you add, the less pigmented the color is, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. And the less water you have, the more pigmented the color is. The water does a good job of transitioning colors between different shapes that you have in your drawing.
It looks like for the chest, you're using the small pointed brush to create texture.
Yep, small strokes to create a feathered texture and dimension. You'll do this with the blue too. It's important to have patience here because you can easily mess up the texture if you're going too fast, using too much water, or if you just start using bigger strokes to fill more area.
You don't want that.
For sure. But in the darker colors, make sure to start using the lighter blue and then start adding black slowly in some areas. And then a darker blue-black where the light is not hitting. It creates dimension in the bird. I usually start with forming a hazy outline of where specific colors are going to go and look at the motion of the feathers within the bird to make sure that it's all flowing the same and not all over the place. As Brenda mentioned, this is a female bird because we see that brown belt. But after finishing the body, I go back over with darker colors in water to add depth of lighter and darker areas, and use water to blend between the colors so it's a nice transition. With the wings, you can see distinct feathers that I want to emphasize by adding a black shadow outline with white highlights over top the blue-black.
It's cool we're doing the belted kingfisher, but Alright, wait. 3, 2, 1. It's cool we're doing the belted kingfisher, but I have seen some that are very vibrant in color. According to the allaboutbirds.com, there are apparently over 100 species of kingfishers, with each sex often looking alike.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. I was looking at kingfishers when it was first mentioned, and I was just seeing so many bright and beautiful ones, but then I looked up the belted kingfisher, and it is very dull. But it is still cute, and the mohawk definitely tops off making it look cute. But here, at this part, you see that I'm trying to create motion in the face while putting strokes in different directions of like where the cheeks are and the feathers flowing up from the eyes and then around the eyes. It's important to be observing what you are drawing and be able to let your creative mind wander and flow.
Oh, time to dye the mohawk blue. And is he wearing an eye mask?
He does kind of look like a superhero or a villain, like a king rock star superhero, if that makes sense.
Fisher at the end. Yeah, he's the first of his kind.
Here I'm extending the color down into his neck to make it look more organic. I do that by adding water on a clean brush to blend the white with the blue. Now I am doing some touch-up to clean him up and get him spiffy for the show.
Alrighty, it is now time to take what you had observed and the questions you came up with and put them into an artistic twist. Put your thoughts on paper through art. Make your connections.
Have you ever seen one before? What do they sound like? Look in depth at kingfishers to make your own connections. I wonder, it reminds me of. Here is some videos of kingfishers to watch before you start drawing and creating your connections on the page. Have you ever had any kingfisher sightings, connections?
Yeah, well, I noticed that they fly really freaking fast. Like, I try to find them in my binoculars all the time. I can't. They go by so fast. But every time I hear them, I know they're around. They have a distinct noise.
Yeah, I think my first time seeing a kingfisher was at Pemberton Park, and I was walking and all of a sudden I felt like I was in a panic because their chatter was like a siren, and I thought like something was going on.
The world's going to end.
And the kingfisher kept on like flying by and like swooping like super close to the water, but it was so fast that like I could not even tell it was a kingfisher, and that was before I knew anything about it. It was very scary.
Did it pick up anything?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it was flying back and forth like super fast, like it was urgent. They were like, I don't know. I thought his kids were in danger.
I am hungry.
I know. I was like, how can I help you? Like,
Aw. Thank you so much for watching today, guys.
We had a lot of fun and hope you did too.
See you soon. Comment anything you guys would like to see next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, Brenda here again, and I want to thank you all for watching our nature journaling video today. If you are interested in participating in nature journaling more often with us, we do have a nature journaling club that happens every month here at the Ward Museum. We meet every third Thursday at 4 to 6 p.m. and this event is totally free to participate and there's no experience needed whatsoever. We just like to all meet up, hang out, and learn a little bit about what we can observe outside and in nature. And we'll explore a few different art mediums as well. So feel free to check us out. We do recommend that this is for ages 11 and up, so please bear that in mind. Feel free to visit our website and our social media like our Facebook and Instagram pages to learn a bit more about some of the other events that we have here at the Ward Museum. We do a lot of bird walks and a bunch of art programs like Drop-in Art. We have a kid-friendly birding program called Flock Around the Block that meets on the weekends. So please visit our website, learn more about those educational programs, and we hope to see you at those in the future. Thanks again for watching.